Um, all right. Uh, so here, as you guys see, we got a basic counter. I'm gonna start the dev server up. What I did is the same exact thing you guys did when you downloaded Veet and ran the process. So I just snatched a bunch of it out, and they already had this counter in here. So I decided to leave that. It works, and it'll save us some time. Um, all right. Forgive my little Windows computer. It might be working a little hard. But as we see here, basic state is immutable, but it can be changed. It is changed through our setter function. I find the word immutable a little challenging because we use state in our set state to change things a lot. So using the word immutable really seems strong in saying it's not changing, but that's what it means. But we changed the state which caused the re-render. That's really important in your hook's life cycle. Actually, I got you. Wrong one. There we go. All right. So it's here. Am I getting ahead with life cycle? Okay, no. um, so one of the things about your component's life cycle is it mounts, updates, and unmounts, which when happens causes your DOM to re-render with the change. So if we come over here and we actually click on it, that caused our DOM to re-render with that new value from the state change. um, Let me pull this back up. Ooh. All right, that talks about setting the to do. I don't think you guys did the input. I didn't see that. So, but as we look at this may look a little different. I think we'll get to it in your next lesson. It's called a functional update. Because our current state of the count is reliant on the previous state because we want it to count up, we use what's called functional updating. I'm not going to go into much more detail than that, but it increments for us and keeps stale state from happening. Um, so we continue to count up by one. I only really iterate that so much because we can use that when you think of an array or an index of something. You count through that. And I wanted to attempt to do an image card to show us counting through an array, but I wanted to try to use state and let you guys help me make this. I want to, one, come to the image component and talk about what's going on here before we actually decide what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But we have these properties here, and it's our image path, styling, and the title. We're going to use the title to be the descriptor under our image. That one might get a little tricky. We will see though. You guys will. Hopefully, we'll have you guys leading the way on a majority of this. Feel free to chat and put answers in there. Um, but I will obviously, for the sake of the lesson, try to move forward. Um, but so we have our source, we have our style. Now this is to style the overall inline style the overall image, and we're going to do that as a property being passed to it. Then our alt, which is going to be if the image doesn't show up, the text that tells us what the image is supposed to be, and we're going to use that as the title underneath the image. All right, so let's go back to app.jsx, and I'm going to comment this back in. And the first one I kind of want to start with is our image path. We have this asset file folder over here, and I wonder if you guys can help me figure out how I would go about getting just one of these for right now paths to pass into that as the image path property. Any ideas or suggestions? Done with week 2 import statement. Actually, this is week 3 for props. Drag it. Okay. Could you add it to app.imagePath? Oh, you mean right here? Yeah, that's where we're gonna add it. Good call. And somebody said the hero PNG, which let's look at our directory real quick from app.jsx what we're in, and I think he might have had the ./.
./.
Yeah. So we're
Okay.
there. PNG. Oh, all right. Save. And uh-oh, I broke something. Okay. Let's see what it says. I'm missing a couple of my properties. As you can tell, I wasn't lying when I said we were going to do this on the wing. All right. Let's step to one of the next props or properties. Styling. Can somebody tell me? Actually, you might not know this one, so I'm gonna start off a little bit. Normally, when you pass a styling in, or you are gonna do a style, it's an object being passed in. So you will actually see a double curly brace a lot of times. Pixel, right? So, and then we're gonna actually take hero here. Hero, and make that our title. And that's going to be the name for our alt as well as our actual title to the piece of art that we might see. It's not going to be art. Uh-oh. Let's see what I've done wrong here. On-cut error. Image is void element tag. What am I reading here? Server 500? We were looking right there at the path. Let me pull that up again. Failed to reload app.jsx. It's telling me... Okay, there we go. Image react time is a void element tag. Must neither have children nor use dangerous. Huh. Error occurred in the image component. Consider adding an error boundary for your tree. I have done something wrong here. Let's find out what it was. Could I have done this wrong? Nope. Not children. They're not using them as children. I'm using... Let's, alright. Alright. There's trying to put something inside the image tag that doesn't belong there. Inner HTML tag. I think I might have did something wrong with the JSX and it's not liking it. Oh. The wrapper closing tag. Let's look at that real quick. Ay, ay, ay. No, that can't be it. It don't like that. Huh. Let's see if this fixes it. It's saying that actually this might be a good time to explain this. It's saying that I actually have a child to image and I'm not passing it in. Is my understanding for it, right? So even though it's a I know it's redlining on me. Yes, there we go. Okay. So this is, as I understand what I was reading, how I would pass that in. All right. And because I made it the component with a child here, and I didn't pass the child into it as how I had it before. I didn't have this closing tag with the variable. It don't even have to be a variable, just the information it needed. We can actually set this const okay, we'll do that. I'm sorry. I we're gonna do the set using state. Set title. All right. Da, 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 use state. Now, how would I want to go about putting that in there? Oh yeah, we had to import it first. I'm sorry, I was late on that one. Let me open this bigger since I have two monitors. I'm gonna comment that out 'cause I want to check something real quick while you guys are coming up with an answer for that.
Sorry, excuse me. Do we create the image in the right way in the other file?
Um, it was actually the image that came with
No,
the.
on the other file, on the other component file, not
Oh,
the app.jx, the
okay.
other file.
Now, what are you asking? As in right now?
No, not this file, not this file, the other one.
This one?
Yeah, in here, yeah. Do we create the image correctly? Uh, let me write on the comment section. Don't we create image like uh, on this way? I think so.
Oh, you mean right here?
No, no, you were in the right
Oh,
in
right
the
here.
correct file. Yeah.
Right here.
Uh, line 8. Can you delete? Uh, yeah, line 8 and yeah, delete everything. Delete everything. I think so.
Wait, you talking about this?
Yeah, delete everything and put the closing tag in after title. I think so. If I'm not.
Well, I get that. You can do that. But how are you going to know what the uh, name of the image is as it shows up? I mean, I guess we could do a div, right? We can do that. We can have fun with that. Um, there we go. All right, bam. But we're gonna come back. Oh, there we go. Hero, hero. Um, our path does seem to be wrong. Actually, let me refresh. Let me refresh so we can get your changes too. There we go. It's same. All right. Um. And we're gonna go to. So we're trying to get the hero PNG, which is this image here. And let me grab. I think it's the relative path. Doesn't matter. We'll be able to actually. We'll be able to glean the path we need. Paste. I mean, source asset heroes. We step out one. We're in app.jsx. We only need to step into there. Oh. Ha. Sorry. I should have saw this in the first place. There we go. we had to step into the assets folder because it's what's holding the hero image. All right, let's cross our fingers. And oh, okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Right. All right. Um. Oh. Whoops. Shouldn't have saved that. We're still not getting the image. I wonder why. Let me do this then. We're gonna
Do we
copy.
need to have unhate because you only put widths only on the style?
I'm sorry.
Do we need to put hate only because you put widths only on the style of the image?
Oh, I commented it out for right now, but I do well. Um, there is a default that the browser does with height where it tries to it will auto set the height based off the width. And well, it does this behind the scenes already. That was kind of why I put it there because I was going to comment it out so you could see that it does the same thing. But if it makes you feel better, you can. A lot of people like that control. Um, I I just want to be able to see it, and we will figure that out. All right, so we're here, and oh, this is what I was trying to do. It won't let me go to the path. Um, I am gonna try it. Why not? And it still doesn't work. Why are we not getting that image in? Hmm. Let's see. We'll try this. Mm, sets. Assets / hero dot png / close. I think it's 1 second. I'm gonna do style with 300 pixel. Control save. Comment that out. Save. Huh. Why aren't you... Network. Where are you at? Image cycler, you should be off. Hero PNG. Huh. I don't believe we have the wrong path. Did I do it again?
Steven, I have a question. So when we work with the pictures, we shouldn't do the import how we were doing on week 2 on the top of the file, JSX. We don't have to do it. Just import hero.png from hero PNG, or that doesn't work like that.
Well, you can if you wanted to, and then you could, I think you could assign it a value and pass it in if you wanted to. But I was just really trying to do it as more of like show you guys the way to access it through props because
Okay.
this week week 3 was really emphasizing props and passing props around with your to-do list, and I just thought that was very simple. And I'm sorry this has turned complicated and not correct. Um, but I guess we can. Oh, all right. Slow down. There we go. Thank you. All right. All right. So it was the path. Um, and I should have paid attention to the one we deleted here because it had the whole thing source, assets. But for some reason, I thought because we were accessing the PNG, it would know to read into assets because sometimes it takes liberties like that, but it's not being served off an express server through the public static file. I'm sorry. Anyways, so to go back to here. All right. Now that we know how to get the image on the screen properly, all right. So we got to put /src because of our source here. Why does that not seem right? I'm in source. I shouldn't have to step back in. But let's see. All right. Let's go back. And we can comment our control. Comment this back in. We're going to save so it shows. And there we go. All right. Pull that off. And this is labeled hero for some reason, but now let's grab this. As you can see, we've passed everything in as a property that we have declared in our component right here. Something that you will be getting into later is called prop drilling. As you see, we have this div right here. We could actually make that into another component. And then we would import that to here. And then we would actually have to pass title as a prop down again. If we wanted title to be something else other than this title, say we wanted that to stay as the alt because no one's going to see that as long as the image loads. And we wanted to be more descriptive in that title, we could do that, and we would have to pass that description through the image card to the component here. All right. So I want to ask about the styling now. As an object being passed in as a prop, you guys obviously see the commented out code up here, but you do see this import app CSS that someone had asked about imports earlier, where we could just import the image, right? So these rules from here apply to this. I want to point out this class name is not a property. This button is not a component. It is a regular HTML element. And we are passing these in as strings, well, as you saw me do here. But I want to, now that I got it working, I want to challenge us to break it and get it working again. Um, so that being said, how could we make our image path change with our button click?
Probably we have to add to image card some setter because there was setter for count there, for set count, let's say. Probably for image card we also can put some setter, and then we will add that to on-click method or function in button element.
Okay. All right. So let's. I'm gonna see if I can get this right. Um. Title. Well, let's think. So your guys' to-do list is an array of objects that we access. So let's go const image settings, and we're gonna do an array of objects. Since we have 3 images, oh, I want to do 3 objects. Alright. Oh, where'd you go? Wrong one. Control Z. And, alright. What'd you do? Oh, I was holding control. Okay, so in here, how do we want to set that? We gotta set our title. And, how about image paths? Oh, we could actually just do path. Let's go title. I feel like, and we'll do hero. Oh. Hero, and then we'll do path. C/assets/hero hero.png. Alright, now we're gonna cheat a little bit. Let me grab my mouse. Just control copy, control paste. We will get rid of the whole back end. Let's go React path. The React is an SVG, so let's be aware of that. React.svg. It's SVG. Byte.svg. Now I feel like this is probably going to get pretty complicated passing it around, but let's have fun with it, right? This is your basic to-do list with a title and well, ID and title, just different names. All right. So now we're not trying to loop through the whole thing at one time. No, we don't want them all on the screen. We want to click on our button that counts for us and have that cycle through the images for us since we've made it this far. Any suggestions on how we do that? Okay, make sure nobody said nothing in the chat. Alright, I'll help us out. I figured having the title use state here would have been the clue for somebody. But, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to put the image setting inside our title right here. Okay? I'm going to run with that. Naming convention, I should do better. But to save on time right now, we're going to do image settings. But to use the counter to be able to go through the array because it's indexed at 0, or well, it's because arrays are indexed as numbers and it starts at 0, we can put count in there. Save. All right. So now we have to come down here and actually pass that to this image card. I want to take a second now to point out title is no longer just a string as we have hard coded. Title will become the that is, I love that. See how it gives us this here? It's an object. So as we have to access and pass these properties around, we have to remember that these are values inside of that property. I'm pretty sure you did some of that when you were passing it around. I think by the end of the lesson you actually had to make the singular list item. So that in itself will start to get very complicated as you pass those items around. They're going to have a lot of properties that move with them. Your edit properties are going to be probably different than your setup and save properties. So you'll have different things going on in different files and having to pass values around. But okay, so now getting back to here, I will take that out that out and take this out. Does anybody want to take a guess at how we are going to reference these images? There we go. Sorry. How we're going to reference these images to get access to their path and the information we want from them, just like our to-do lists. Let me hit a save real quick. Yeah, I know you're broke. Oh. Well, that was... Give it a minute for you guys. I can only guess the server reverted back to a working state.
What about set title? Probably we're gonna use in these brackets, no?
Well, set title is how we would change it, but what we're doing is we are actually going to use the count to change it. All right, I'll do this. Well, no, because that gives you the answer. I don't want to give you guys the answer yet. But no, set title is our helper function that we would use to change it traditionally, but because we set the button, which its state is based on count, we can cycle through the image settings array by just increasing that number. But really, to get even that control, we want to set it into a use state. I mean, we could just as easily do I guess we can do this. Image settings dot, nope, we're gonna go square bracket count dot path. Alright, and we'll take this out. I got all extra with it just because I wanted to use state. But alright, so we have the image settings here, and we're going to use our counter to loop through the array of objects. How would we get this to also change down here with title for our labels and alternate? No, well, we want it to render hero on the page. And well, hero falls under the title here. That's our key value property. There we go. We have image settings, but that was a good guess. Manuel. We're going to still access the same object. We just have to change our key value pair. So we'll go to image settings, square bracket, because you rely on count, dot, title. And let's save. save, and pop in here. All right, so now we have that. Oh, we changed our image. Why does it move up? Now that is odd. And then disappears because there is no third image in our array. uh, how would I stop that, guys? You went through intro, so we went over edge cases. You have edge cases. How would I go about stopping that from happening? And in all honesty, you can still use the state counter as well for this. I'll give you that hint. Mm, mm, I'm trying to see if I can make a for loop work. It's not where I was going with it though. Um, no, no, it's not a loop. What we're really, oops. Uh, I was like, how could I set a loop to stop that? But we are manually looping through it, and we want to stop at a certain point in time. And to be honest, this is another prop that we could pass. I'll even give that hint. What property would disable our button? Oh, copy.
Count probably will disable button somehow.
Well, I meant, how could we get count to trigger a disable attribute on our button so that it won't allow us to click past a certain number, say 3, so we don't actually pass the end of our array, no matter how long it is?
Can we use Boolean here, true or false?
That's very good. All right. So we're going to hit disable, but we're going to hit it with a Boolean. All right. So this is only going to work if we have it set to true. We need to run an evaluation that will make disable say the end is here. How could we go about doing that? And I think I got the syntax right. I gotta fact check myself. Okay, I had to fact check myself real quick, but I remembered it correctly. I don't like disabling buttons. I think it's a UI taboo type thing. I feel like if you disable a button, you should just remove it from the DOM. But we can get into conditional rendering in a minute. Uh oh. Ooh, I like it. Uh, hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am gonna copy. So that student, well, everybody's seen it. It ain't like you're not gonna see it, but all right, paste, and then if our count is less than 3, oh, wait. If count is less than 3, disable will be true. Let's find out. I get these mixed up a lot. I usually have to, when I make scratch for loops, I have to run it to make sure, because count being less than 3, evaluating to true for the disable, I think is going to actually cause it to be disabled before 3. But we are going to check and see. It's right there. If it's not that one, it's the other way around. It's that simple. And we will refresh. 1, 2. Oh, it disappeared. What happened there? We did save it, correct? Yeah. Oh, yeah, index 0. Duh. See, I make the same mistakes you guys make all the time. Slightly dyslexic and forgetful. Thank you, Mr. Corey. Alright, so we have saved. Now let's retry. 1, 2, and it still went off. We want it to equal. Oh, that's what it is. We want it to be able to equal to, but now that seems more like a conditional. But let's do it anyways, because it's a ternary. That's conditional. I love ternaries. So cool. It did not like that. Oh, arrow function. Haha. There we go.
I think it's been off because we have nothing to render. After the count finishes, what do we have to show?
Well, the counter isn't conditionally rendered, so it shouldn't disappear. That's the thing. When we were doing it and the counter was actually disappearing, that's where I felt like something was off, because we don't have our counter under a conditional render, right? This button here, that's that blue line across, that isn't supposed to disappear when we run out of the image. Does that make sense? At least I don't think so. There we go. All right, stopped at 2, and it didn't disappear. I don't know why it kept ticking up. That's definitely something that we could inspect in elements. Oh, here it is, styles. That's definitely something that seems like it would be a styles issue. But that's kind of beyond right now. I just want to stick to this whole properties thing, because as you can see, it can, even for something so simplistic, it can get very tricky in just understanding how things are being passed around, because sometimes things are passed around 2 or 3 components deep, and you don't know where it's breaking because you think you have everything right up to that point. So it's really important just to be mindful of these little changes as you're moving along. One of the things I can't stress enough, if you've been in a meeting or if I review your papers, commits, guys. I can't tell you how many times it has saved me committing, just like switching to a page and importing something and then putting it in use and committing right there. Because I go off, as we all do, and you start writing code, you get lost in the sauce, you're in the trenches. Next thing you know, you filled in a whole file and you didn't commit. Now you got to figure out what broke where, what's being passed along, and it gets difficult sometimes. So I can't stress those habits enough early on. Is those save points are awesome because you can get, sometimes your saves are long, and you're gonna need to go back. I've had to hard reset twice on some things since starting Code to Dream, where my mentor was like, "We can't fix this. You gotta throw it out. We gotta start over, or you just gotta go through it." And it's like, all right, man, let's reset. Um, so just be aware of these little changes, because every change, as you saw, that one click controlled so much state off a simple counter. That's why you, a lot of teaching methods will fall suit on that counter. It's so simple, but it's very, very valid in how it teaches state and the control of state. But sometimes, as individuals, we might overlook something just counting up one, two, three. That one click can change a lot of things depending on how you write your code. And that's just state. Now, one of the things I wanted to do was, oh, I think this was it, right? I think this is where I messed up. No, because and you're right, 9 times out of 10, when we create a title and we set title, we have that helper function set up somewhere to change that specific state for us. We wouldn't rely on another state to control another state as well. That's a no-no. I was just caught up in trying to describe passing state around, and as I look at it now, I see I made a mistake in trying to show you guys that that's a no-no. You use one thing to control your state, and as you see, we used a simple counter to do it because we controlled the flow of information into our application. Let me save that. And any questions on this, guys?
Can you show really quick where is the state, where is the hook, where is the props in these parts of code that you showed us in these
Okay.
files?
So our state is set by our counter right here, right? And we're calling the state into these. Get this out. Now, as we're sitting here, the image settings, we have the count that loops through the array, which is a number that's controlling our state as we loop through this array manually. Now, we could use image settings dot map and have all of them on the screen at one time. I just felt like that would be a little much. But all right, and we are passing those properties as properties, I'm sorry, as properties into our image card here. This. Now, excuse me, sorry. I touched on this earlier. This isn't necessarily a property. This is a child being rendered of the image card is what that technically is right there. But I think it's still considered a property that you passed into the child, and it's the title name. You asked one more thing. You asked about the state, which is our counter. We're using this as our state control. We're using our state control to cause re-renders to loop through these image settings, which is our title and path. I'm sorry, Anna. What was the third part of the question?
That was hooks, if we
Oh, the
had any
hook.
hooks
The
here.
use
Uh-huh.
state is the hook that we used that's what we used kind of to I don't want to say that's how we declared our state because we're using this image setting up here to help declare our state by looping through it and using this data as part of the flow of the application. Uh, it real basic. Uh, the use state is the hook, which we have imported here. Our component here, which we passed these properties in, and we didn't even get to the image style. Let me put that in real quick. I'm not even going to ask you guys about that, but that's one of the other things is um, we could even pass. Let me do this real quick. I'm sorry. I just got image settings. Oh, style. Sorry. STYLE. Why are you? Oh, okay. Comment you in. Image STYLE. Save. Alright. And let's do display. As you see, we're putting these stylings in as key value pairs of an object. Flex. Oh, and it always has to be a string. Flex. Justify. Oh, is it camel case or kebab? Oh, camel case. Border radius right here was my giveaway. Oh, nope. Content. Justify content. Center. Let's see if I at least got that right. So that's one of our properties being passed in. But you could also, just like how I was pointing out, we have this button where the class name is being passed in as a string. Those are all properties we can pull out and predefine in image objects for your component on that page or in your CSSs over here, as you can see for the counter right here. I saved. Let's see how it looks. It did not center. Oh well. And it's still moving up. That's just alright. Let's go back over. And was that all that I had? Yeah, that was all that I had. Anything else? I I don't mind answering questions. I love talking about this stuff, guys. This is fun. It, if I didn't think it would scare you, I would show you what I was working on, but we're not gonna go there. Well, I'm gonna sit here for a minute and give you guys some time. I'm gonna end the recording. It takes like 30 minutes to buffer the or